I'm just sitting here thinking about the Nintendo Switch 2 and everything that's happened so far with the inflation talk, tariffs, game prices. The console price is not too bad. I think I'm okay with $450 since I have bought other handheld devices for $700+. But I still think that the Nintendo Switch 2, compared to other Nintendo announcements and launches, even considering the Wii U launch, I think Nintendo Switch 2 is one of the worst launches in Nintendo history, simply because of all the controversy about the prices and all of the convoluted features that they're going to include to their system, and the fact that not all of the Nintendo Switch 1 games are going to work on the Nintendo Switch 2. And I feel like that's confusing in itself, because Nintendo even announced that the original Joy-Cons are going to be compatible with the Switch 2. So wouldn't that make a game like Ring Fit compatible with the Switch 2? I'm not sure, but all the details are very wishy-washy. And I think considering the marketing, stock prices, and everything that Nintendo needs for the Nintendo Switch 2 to become successful, this seems like a very risky launch for the company. And if I was an investor, I don't think I would take a risk on Nintendo right now. Even though there has been almost too much hype with the Nintendo Switch 2 because of all of the hype machines on YouTube, including myself, all of the fictitious leaks online for years, it was only inevitable that the Nintendo Switch 2 wouldn't reach those hype levels and that expectation. It was obvious that something was going to go wrong, but I didn't think it would go this wrong. I didn't think Nintendo would straight up take advantage of their fan base and consumers. I didn't think that something like the tariffs would happen exactly around the Nintendo Switch 2 release date. I think Nintendo Switch 2 proves something in terms of history and expectations. Well, it just doesn't work out, and that's just how being an adult works. So we have to roll with the punches, including an entire country getting banned from pre-orders until further notice. We have a May 8th pre-order date, but there can also be more things that go wrong for America and Canada in that time. As long as the tariffs are delayed for 90 days, I feel like that does give us some hope. But I'll be honest with you guys, life has sucked for the past 10 years. And the Nintendo Switch 2 and other handhelds have been the only good things so far. And that's saying a lot. Now, I feel like if a company like Nintendo takes advantage of people while life has been pretty crappy for most people, is kind of a very dark thing, but it also proves that Nintendo is also going through a lot, and they're taking a lot of losses with the original Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. People thought that they were making a lot of money off of it, but apparently they weren't, because those prices that they've introduced to us are not very friendly. If Nintendo really had a heart, they would sell their games for $70 at the very most for exclusives, which are most likely going to be the only games that play at 4K 60 and 1080p 120 if you're lucky. But now people are starting to question the hardware, the prices, Nintendo's strategies, and I feel like all of those things in combination make one of the worst launches that I've ever seen. And I've seen the Dreamcast launch. I feel like this is a little worse because at least there's some happiness thrown in during the Dreamcast launch. But then people started copying all the games and the company went under. But yeah, I guess we'll see exactly how everything goes in the future. I don't think that it's going to go well, considering the past 5 years and how that's been. It's not the fact that people just have bad luck. It's the fact that there are more people than ever. There are more needy people than ever. And America is just going down the shitter. If you live in this country, you know exactly how horrible this country has been in the last 10 years. It could be just the state of the economy. It could be the fact that some people don't know how to do math. I think it's just inevitable. I think it's something that was supposed to happen a long time ago that America has been putting off. And now we're going through this specific strategy of tariffs that is very risky, but it's the only strategy that we need in order to make something else happen. If there's something as desperate as this happening, well, then it sucks for Nintendo to release a system around this time where there are a lot of risky things going on, because I bet America is a huge dent in Nintendo's wallet. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're still going to look at a June 5th release date, but I'm hearing that the tariffs in China are going up to 145% thanks to the constant feed of articles online. And if the Nintendo Switch 2 reflects the tariffs at 145%, then I'm actually not going to get one. I think that's a ridiculous price, especially the fact that they're going to import their games at the same percentage as well. But hopefully this all blows over, like I say about every bad thing that potentially doesn't blow over. And I'm really not expecting anything to go my way. My way is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 with decent game prices, most likely getting third parties first and getting first parties second hand. But most likely if you buy a Nintendo Switch 2 game for $80, you're not going to sell that thing anytime soon. Like Beat 'em Up said, you can buy a game for $20 second hand. I doubt someone's going to buy an $80 game and in the first year sell it for $20. I think it's going to pass at least 4 years until we see people selling Nintendo Switch 2 first party games at $20. So just buckle up. It's not going to be a pretty ride. It's going to be kind of rocky, and there's going to be a lot of crying and screaming and people arguing. Even gamers are arguing amongst each other. That's how bad the economy is right now. And we're supposed to be the happy ones, the ones that get everything we want. And right now I'm looking back at my backlog on my Steam Deck, and I'm just appreciating everything I currently have. I have fucking Marvel Spider-Man 2 in a handheld, and on the Steam Deck, that thing plays perfectly. I never thought this would be a reality. I'm absolutely in awe, and I'm not asking for more. If Nintendo wants a lot more than I have to give, then maybe I just won't give anything. Maybe this channel won't be focusing on Nintendo Switch 2. Just simple as that. Because I'm going to speak with my wallet. If you guys have an issue with the prices, vote and speak with your wallet. Just don't buy it. You don't need to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. It's not a guaranteed clout generator on YouTube. Maybe it might be. Maybe that's how people are seeing it and that's how Nintendo is seeing it. So let's make them think otherwise. I'm going to be the first person to say I was all in on Nintendo Switch 2, but now I'm not because of this messy launch. It just doesn't rub me the right way, and it feels like Nintendo doesn't give a shit about consumers and their fan base. And I was going to boycott Nintendo a long time ago. You guys already know that, and I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm just not going to buy Nintendo Switch 2 as long as it's that price. I'm not going to 100% boycott the system. I'm just going to wait until I get it for a better price, and that might be a year. It might be 2. But yeah, guys, what do you think about the Nintendo Switch 2 and its terrible, terrible launch? And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good one. Later.
GIM, or must I find a better map?